The year is 1985. Mystery novelist and philanthropist David Emmanuel Landau has decided to throw a Thanksgiving dinner party in his small-town Indiana home. A night full of thanks turned into one of misfortune for Mr. Landau. A disaster would strike the Church Street residence just 1 hour before the dinner party on the night of November 13th. The Indiana police force had been low on funding, and they needed to outsource for the case of Mr. Landau. Who better to solve the case than the 11 dinner party guests themselves? Participants included his ex-wife, his neighbor, business partners, and other acquaintances of David. One person among the group had blood on their hands. The following footage is classified from the logs of Detective Mann and Jock. The two interviewed each of the dinner party guests, and also left cameras in the bathrooms for the guests to share thoughts throughout the night. All of this to solve the mystery. Who brutally murdered Mr. David Landau, and why?
There's a murderer.
There's a murderer among us.
Among us?
He said it.
Among us?
He said it.
There you go. All right, Detective Mann and Jock, questioning interview session number 1.
Patty Simmons.
Name's Roger Heathcliff.
Eleanor Radcliffe.
I am Philip Randolph.
Penny Randolph.
Jack Chase.
My name is Sam Weaver.
Trying to be classy.
State your name.
Fuck.
Susan, yeah?
Susan Benson. Yes, of course. Obviously, I know my own name.
Ben Benson.
Mr. Ray, could you refrain from smoking during the interview? If you would be so kindly. Thank you, sir. State your name.
I'm Ray.
Don't you have a last name?
Don't need a last name. You just call me Ray.
My name is Barbara Landau.
So, Landau as in David Landau?
Landau as in David Landau, correct. We were married. We are currently married, yes.
Separated, not divorced.
Yes, correct.
So, there was a police report for the body, which is in this building.
It's not.
And
it's at the police station.
At the police station, just kidding. To expedite matters, feel free to question one another and come up with your own theories, you little game theorists. The deceased was Mr. David Landau. He was found dead on the floor of his bedroom. He was strangled with a tie with the initials PR. The deceased has a selection of ties with the abbreviations of the states on them.
Okay.
The body was discovered by a Sam Webster, a friend of a friend who was staying in Mr. Landau's home for an evening. He was the author of best-selling book Murder, the Game. The movie version was just released. Fun fact. Sergeant Riley tells me it's quite good, so as you all know, he's our mystery writer. Presently, an autopsy is being done. Please do not remove anything from the scene of the crime. Our police photographer is detained at a bicycle accident uptown. He'll arrive ASAP. We shall be sending in the autopsy and any further reports to your address. I'll be asking the questions.
Are you a PI or something?
I said I'm asking the questions.
Are you holding us hostage?
I'm asking the questions.
This is the case.
Been removed, but there's a. This is what we found.
They left the tie there?
The tie there. That's how we know it has the initials PR. Don't touch anything also. There's also a mysterious pile of papers on the...
Wow.
Hey, don't touch anything. So, Patty, how long have you known David?
Oh, ever since I moved to this town. Yeah, we're neighbors, so I live right next door.
Now, how do you know David?
He's a bastard. He always has my girlfriend over. She's always borrowing his typewriter.
So he's a mystery writer. So my goal in life is to have a book as successful as his. So he lets me borrow his typewriter since I don't have enough money to afford one for myself. So I come over here a lot. I actually
I need to go write my novel. Let me just borrow his freaking typewriter. Yeah, sure.
What's your connection to David?
He was a close friend of mine. I helped get him in connection with a publisher to publish his first mystery novel. The one my wife seems to fawn over him for, like she used to with me, that cheating whore.
We were in love.
In love.
Yes.
So you have a husband,
Yes.
and he said you admitted to cheating on him.
Yes, after he confronted me at the bar.
She used to love me for my work, for my successful books, but since I've been in this slump, she's turned to David, and he's been cheating on me. I confronted her about it an hour ago at the bar, to which she responded that she is, and there was nothing I could do about it.
Speaking of, do you or anyone you know have plans of traveling anytime soon?
Not as far as I'm aware.
We were actually gonna leave
You're gonna
tomorrow.
leave tomorrow.
My wife knew him, really. I never actually met the man.
You never met David.
Never met David.
I see.
Don't even know what he looks like.
Interesting.
And your wife was
Susan Benson?
You see, David, that man is suing me.
Is he now? Your husband told us a little bit about this.
Don't listen to a word he says.
Oh,
He's an idiot. Okay?
Right.
She apparently stole the game that her company's making from him, but like, I don't know. She was trying to negotiate with him when we were coming here.
He's a philosophy major. A PhD in philosophy. Like, you need to do an extra
Okay, let's get back on topic.
a couple more years of that, alright?
David, he's suing you
Yes.
before he died. What was he suing you about?
You see, my brother, I don't know if you've talked to him yet. His name's Roger.
Right.
So I'm a game developer, and I read his book, and I thought his book was very good, and I approached him, and I said, or suggested that we should make a game out of his book. So, and he totally agreed. He was fine with it. So I went to work, started creating the game and everything, but then David went straight to the president of the company I work at, Idle Time Toys, sold it to them instead, took my idea, cut me out of it completely, and yeah, gotta say, made me feel a little bit less about him, but not enough to want to kill him.
They developed a game together. And me being the good sister that I am, I sold that game to another company. In his name.
In his name.
Yeah, but then David, he didn't even develop the game, let me tell you. It's based off his book, but he gave Roger permission to do so.
Right.
Roger's the one who developed it.
Roger did tell us.
Exactly. David sold it to our competitors, and now he's suing me because he made the game, or whatever.
I don't really know him. I was invited to the party by Roger.
By Roger.
By Roger. I work at Idle Time Toys with him.
Gotcha.
I'm not a fan of David.
Not a fan of David.
He's technically my girl, Barb's husband.
Oh, that's
Yes.
true.
And I proposed to Barb, but she wouldn't. She said she turned me down because she's technically still married to David.
So that you have a child with Mr. Landu?
I do have a child that is Mr. Landu's, but I would not consider myself as having a child with Mr. Landu.
I see.
Okay.
Very vocally separated from him.
Yes.
Barb has a child with David.
With David.
But David didn't know about it until tonight, and he
He's dead.
is dead now.
What's your connection to David?
Nothing really much. I was just kind of passing through town, and my brother's friend was going out with David's sister, and so they thought I should contact David because I needed a place to stay. So I just, contacted him. He said, "Yeah, I can stay here for a little bit." So I really don't know him that much.
So you don't know anyone at this party?
I don't know David. No, I know a couple people.
You know some people. Do you know Eleanor by chance?
I know Eleanor. We used to work for her.
Okay, she did bring up your name, I think.
I'm sure she did.
Do you think he just wanted to talk tonight, or?
We had a business call about us settling our issues with our businesses.
And that's why you got invited here tonight.
Well, I worked with Jack. Jack was my marketing agent.
Ah.
And I know Susan as well, so we both know each other.
Do you have any history with Eleanor aside from work?
She came on to me. That's why I quit.
Oh, that is okay. I'm sorry to hear that. So, you wouldn't happen to have had any plans for travel anytime soon?
Nope. I don't make enough money to travel.
Right.
I don't get raises or anything because people like David steal my ideas all the time.
Really is a shame about that. You're a game maker then?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Roger?
No. But I know that he makes games now.
Also mentioned something about David taking his idea and bringing it up with the head of the company. You know anything about that?
No, I do not. I didn't talk to Roger much tonight.
This also came in.
We've been made aware that one Ethan Ellenberg says, I'm delighted to enclose my check for $1 million and some change, representing the first payment on the residuals from Murders the Game and the hardcover royalties for the book. There should be a lot more, but you know how slow they are to pay. Did you see Hollywood Reporter last week? The movie's gross has topped $75 million, and nothing seems to be able to get the book off the bestsellers list. I always knew Murders the Game was something special, but never in my wildest dreams did I think it would make us both rich. They're already talking about a sequel. Let's get together and celebrate some more. Sincerely, Ethan Ellenberg. P.S. I was going through your file to process the checks, and I see you never changed your beneficiary on the will. Who do you want to put?
Oh. Motherfucker.
So, do you think now you have a better chance at getting the credit for that game?
At this point, I mean, the deal's already been signed, so I doubt it, but...
It's interesting that you should say that, because Ethan Ellenberg gave us this message that said, Dear David, I'm delighted to enclose my check for $1 million, a bunch of numbers, dollars, representing first payment on the residuals, the Murders the Game, and the hardcover royalties for the book.
Any chance you know this publisher, Ethan?
No. I don't know at all. Like I said, I was cut out of the deal.
Interesting.
Would you say you're bitter about that?
Yeah, but I feel like you could probably understand where I was coming from if that amount of money is involved.
I see.
Well, we know now that
No,
he's
that
going to
just
make a
leaves more
lot of
questions
money off
unanswered.
your stolen work. Okay, but...
Was it you said you didn't talk to him about it?
I never talked to him about
But
it.
she said you did.
No, I didn't. I said that she went up there to help him change or whatever. But that he took her word. She said that to me. I'm just keeping that bottle. I didn't say that they talked. She told me that he took her word. That's why I would never.
But he had kissed someone previously, and it said.
That's why I would never kiss him, okay? Because I know for a fact that he is not.
The information.
But he'd come over all the time to use his typewriter.
If you want to revisit the
You also
information,
said it was
it
your
is
mentor.
open.
Yeah.
The information is now public
Either
knowledge.
this is for why.
If you wish to revisit, it will be up front.
It's declassified. It was a good shot.
That's a really big cigarette you got there.
I know.
Whoa, are you recording this?
No?
So